But here's the Enneagram, which is a 9-figure. It's more than a 9-figure because actually it's a folded tesseract. It also has been described as a two-dimensional representation of a rapidly unfolding lotus flower, which I like. Tell me about you. Well, you had it. You were a keynote speaker. You talked about this, and you said you put credit where credit was due.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
I was at a conference in Fortaleza some weeks ago in Brazil, the Brazilian branch of the IEA, that meaning the International Enneagram Association. Well,
then what happened?
You know, there's the Enneagram was secret in the days when I taught it, or if that can be called teaching it, because for me it was just one element, one thread in whatever I was doing. I was weaving something much more complex.
Yeah, for you, the thread of consciousness actually is part of a weaving rather than a single thing. Yeah.
Yes, and even for Oscar, who called it proto-analysis, proto had the meaning of preliminary to the
You
work.
were referring to Oscar Ichazo.
Oscar Ichazo, who I learned it from. He, at the time, used to say he had learned it from a very ancient source, from a Sumerian, Babylonian
We know
source.
that to not be true.
And lately he's been claiming that he got it directly from a higher source and not from a historical source, from inspiration, from revelation, that is his word.
That's probably closer to the truth.
Yes, I trust it. But
I get a lot of stuff from. I'm serious. I get a lot of my information from higher authorities, and so do you.
Yes.
And we know that, and we trust this.
Yes, and just like Oscar did not make a difference between what was his finding from inside of when he got from higher authority and what he got from word-to-mouth teachings,
right,
which was negligible. Just as he didn't make a distinction, I adopted the same style. So when people heard me, they thought I was talking about something that comes from Babylonian origins through Oscar Ichazo to me.
Well, yeah, because they trust that more. They're being scholars. They
I thought
trust the scholarship
it makes sense.
route. Yeah.
Actually, when I chose to do that intentionally, and I was remembering a recommendation of Oscar Wilde, who said, if you want an idea of yours to become famous, attribute it to a famous person.
That's right.
So I was more interested
become famous.
So at the conference, I told them I had made up this tale that all this came from millennia ago, and that this information came from the Sufis.
Yes.
I told him that actually Oscar Ichazo had not described any of the Enneatypes either. Actually, in the 7 months we spent with him, he devoted about 6 hours to talk about the Enneagram, but he never came to describe any one of the types.
That was Arica.
That came
in Arica, Chile.
In Arica, Chile, yeah. So that came from my own observations, but mostly from automatic writing.
Automatic writing?
Yeah, it came to me through automatic writing.
What did?
The specific information
and it's Enneatypes.
About Enneatypes, which I then verified through observation, because I was surrounded by people I was teaching and exploring with.
And I had friends in Arica who told me essentially the same story. That there was no mention of others besides. He said there was no mention of Enneatypes except from you.
Yes.
So that you were the origin of the Enneatype concept.
And you were the origin of the word Enneatype.
Yes.
You suggested it, and I adopted that idea.
Yeah.
So I thought I would. I have called the people who created this movement, the Enneagram movement. Now it's called rather the Enneagram community.
Yeah.
The people who gave birth to that were people who had received filtrations from what I was teaching, which was supposed to be secret, but some people could not keep their mouth shut because the more narcissistic ones can be counted on talking. And and to some extent I had given permission to, like to Bob Oakes, a Jesuit with my group, I had authorized to teach a specific group of Jesuits in Chicago. And the notes from that group came to Riso, who then wrote one of the first books.
Right.
Who had never received an experiential
those were borrowed,
understanding of it.
Those were borrowed notes.
More than borrowed, yes.
That's what I'm being kind.
Yes, in this age of copyright, it's called something different.
Yes, no, I never accused somebody of outright you-know-what.
I once questioned a Franciscan who's very well known and very respected as a Franciscan authority and theologian. And I said, why you keep repeating the things I say in my workshops and don't give me credit? In the academic world, it's a habit to give credit. It's not considered moral, ethical to present the ideas as yours. He said, we Franciscans operate differently.
Yes.
We don't give credit. We're not interested in this notion of property.
Right. And he owns that idea.
Oh, it's
He
something
owns very good. Well, it's true that they have created that kind of movement. Like Max Weber used to say, all spiritual movements have a charismatic stage and then a bureaucratic stage.
Another way of saying that is...
It's gone into the culture of accreditation and like our educational institutions that are not there for teaching people but for selling tickets to get work opportunities that will get them more money.
Did you have...
It's said that every crusade eventually becomes somebody's racket.
That's very good. Yeah, very good statement. Yeah. Actually, this year, on occasion of my visit, they decided to reject the American project of accreditation. They were going to accredit.
Who is they? Who did that?
The Brazilian Association was about to honor me by giving me credit to teach the Enneagram and giving all my disciples credit for accreditation, so they could, with a second intention, I believe, of getting the goodies out into the market again. All the information that I have only given in my restricted setting.
And you told them, of course, that
they didn't
need that.
No, I was about to tell them that I was sorry that I could not accept their offer because I was not able to give them credit to accredit me.
That's right. Since you are as the progenitor,
it was for me to give them credit to be the ones empowering others.
Yeah. Now we should.
But I didn't get to say that. It looks like they read my mind.
Well, you did now.
I felt a little bit like Ulysses at the end of the Odyssey when it comes to the archery contest and only he can draw his own bow.
Yes.
This was my own bow. Who can draw it better?
There you go.
So I think I made that impression that I was a rightful master of that art. And so that was implicitly, it was without argument. Well, the movement arose because in the first place I spoke in such a way as I had nothing to do with it. I wanted the content to get across, but not authorship. So, and it's my style when I write too. In a way, I have a style of saying things as if it's not me that has come across this or that thought, but everybody knows as everybody knows, this and this happens to be the case. So people have done that only because for 30, 40 years I have not claimed authorship. This happened to arise, and I don't even know whether it may have served a purpose, that the excitement of all this popularization may eventually prove that it was good for something.
Except that it is
I'm not
actually-
not particularly involved, actually.
This book is called Healing Civilization. It's Claudio Naranjo's latest book, and it is out. You'll find it on several websites, including Amazon.com.